Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Today is Friday, the 22nd day of March. Holy cow, we're only like a week before the end of March. It is it's Goof Off Day. I thought it said Good Grief Day. I read it wrong. Goof Off Day, Heidi. You know what we should do today?
Goof off?
No way. Oh, yeah, we should goof off. It's also Bavarian Crepes Day, West Virginia Day, and Puppy Day.
Oh.
So if you're really
I think
good,
every day should be puppy day.
if you're really good, Heidi, I'll let you get a puppy. Not really. I won't.
I was going to say, really? Because I'm all
we
for
have-
that.
We have two puppies, and we're going to keep them. Today, I do have a couple of filmmakers joining me. Jay and Sofia Lyons. They're actually married to each other, just like you and me. We're married to each other.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a new film called The Long Goodbye. It's the Kara Tippetts Story. And today is a special day for them because I believe, if my notes are correct, I believe today is the day it's actually available. So going to be chatting with them. We'll get all the details. And that's all on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
Do you have a pretty good sense of humor? You might like this. Early in the morning each day and every day, we share something weird to make people laugh at weirdgiftoftheday.com. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't even need to spend a penny. Just follow the page on Facebook and get a smile to start each day when we share the weird gift of the day. Not on Facebook? That's okay. You can see the weird gifts on our website too. weirdgiftoftheday.com. That's weirdgiftoftheday.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. A new survey from Spectrum Group found that the United States now has more millionaires than Sweden has people. Wow. I am not a millionaire. Heidi, are you?
No, not last time I checked. I could look really quick.
Yeah,
on
double
my
check,
account.
because I thought maybe you were and you just hadn't told me. I've never been a millionaire. Have you ever been a millionaire?
I have not.
We were on paper for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But never in real life. I played one time on a radio program, but never a real one. Coming up here in a bit, we've got a lot of really important stuff to get to. That's all on the way. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website bettercreditcards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
And this is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by Time4Rehab.com. An alleged shoplifter in California took her time enjoying the fruits of her crime. This all happened at a Target store, and she took a shopping cart inside the dressing room. In the shopping cart, it was like a little handbasket, she had a 6-pack of Stella beer. She went inside and drank all of the stuff. Police say she had over $200 worth of stolen items in her possessions when she was stopped. But she had gone inside the dressing room and got liquored up in a Target.
Wow.
I mean, it was just a regular Saturday, right? Sacramento Bee says there were warrants for petty theft, battery, and resisting and obstructing or delaying a peace officer. So she did not go quietly into the night. It was not.
You know how you're sure that this was not me?
Why is that?
Because I don't shop at Target.
You don't drink that kind of beer either, do you? Have you ever had that? Stella Artois?
I have seen it.
I've
I
never
have
heard
not
you.
bought it.
Do you know how to even pronounce it?
No.
I have some of that Stella Artois. That stuff. If you're that highbrow, you're probably shopping at Target. And there you go. Thanks for listening. I'm just saying, we're just regular folk. We don't know how to pronounce that, and we go to Walmart. That's not a bad thing, so hopefully nobody takes offense to that. I'm just being honest. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. The film Pet Sematary received high praise following its premiere at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas.
This irritates the heck out of me.
Why does it irritate you so much?
Because I saw the previews
Yeah.
to this thing,
Fred
and
Gwynn's not
it
in it, I
is
know.
ridiculous. They changed
Okay.
so much.
So they should have just called it something different and made it a different movie then, right?
Yeah, and I really feel like the first Pet Sematary was
It was good.
brilliant.
It was very well
and
thought
it
out.
did not need to be redone, especially not with all the ridiculousness that they added in this thing.
They did. HBO revealed the final 4 episodes of Game of Thrones will be movie-length features starting next month. Also, Netflix will decide what to do with Felicity Huffman's character in the show when they see us. Here's what you do. Just keep on going. I mean, I don't know why they need to. Nowadays, anytime anybody's offended about anything, they're like, oh, we got to cut that character out. If that were the case, the John and Heidi show would not have had Heidi for the last 2 or 3 years. Is somebody offended by something she says? Every week. So,
well.
I've been trying to decide what to do.
Life is offensive.
I was thinking
Deal with it.
Maybe it would be just the John and Heidi show, and then I would be me, and then I would also be Heidi. You think that would work? No? Okay. I didn't think so either. This has been Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
Here's a fun trip back to the 80s.
Surely you can't be serious.
Join us in Las Vegas for 80s in the Desert May 3rd and 4th. Hang out with other 80s fans.
International language of love.
Meet several 80s icons from the movies and rock out to awesome music from the 80s. Flock of Seagulls, The Romantics, Mr. Scandal with Patti Smythe, Thomas Dolby, Pretty Poison, and more. See the full list of bands and icons at RadioTravelGroup.com. That's RadioTravelGroup.com.
Now your scoop of the day, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. The federal government is offering a $1,000 grant to anybody willing to adopt a wild horse, also known as a donkey. Did you see my
said
post?
yes. You tagged me in it. And
I
no,
did.
we are not getting a donkey.
I just tagged this story the other night, and I said, Heidi, can we?
No.
She said no. I thought that'd be kind of cool. We could tie him up at the radio transmitter tower site. You know, have a little donkey out there.
No, we're not getting
Did
a
they
donkey.
eat grass? Would that mean we wouldn't have to mow anymore? Could we get
Now, if you
6
could have an
donkeys?
elephant,
No. Could we get 6 or 7 donkeys? I don't
that
know
I
how
would
this works.
consider.
I've got a link to the story if you want to read all about it. So those of you who want your free donkey, all the details, and you get $1,000 to take one. I can imagine that they're going to have a lot of takers on this. Hopefully not people who live in apartments. I don't think donkeys can live there. I don't know how that works. Do we have a donkey clause in the lease? A survey found that for the first time ever, more households subscribe to streaming services than traditional TV services. So there are more people like our household. We haven't had cable now in a while.
Oh,
and for those of you
years.
who are cable lovers, I'm not trying to knock it. I'm not saying we weren't home enough using it. It didn't make sense. So we've gotten used to using Netflix. When we first started, we had Hulu. Why did we quit Hulu and go to Netflix?
I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. We're maybe not normal, but we only have the one, and apparently some people have both. These are those wealthy people we were talking about. and here's the other crazy thing. There are some people who, like 5 or 6 people, will share one Netflix account. There's
We
no
don't do
way.
that.
No, we don't. My daughter, I set up a profile for her, and she still uses mine. So Netflix thinks that I like a bunch of girly stuff, and I don't. Netflix,
Yes,
it's not
you
me.
do.
It's not me. It's my daughter. A survey. No, that was the thing we just talked about. How about this one? A CNN poll found that 7 in 10 Americans think the economy is in good shape. It's the highest number, by the way, since February of 2001.
How amazing is that?
I cannot believe that was announced on CNN. Taco Bell customer got up to get some hot sauce. So wait, I'm going to pause for a second here. Taco Bell hot sauce has saved 2 lives in the last month.
Right, we just read one.
Yeah, we talked about one where a dude was like dying, or not dying, but was afraid he was going to die because of the cold, was stuck in a car, like freezing, and stayed alive by eating Taco Bell hot sauce that
packets
was
of
in
hot
his car.
sauce in his car.
Second time, Taco Bell's hot sauce has saved someone's life because this Taco Bell customer was walking over to get some hot sauce, turned around, and then saw a car smash through the wall and destroy the seat that he was sitting in just seconds earlier.
This is okay. That's kind of a stretch.
The driver
So the
was
hot
okay.
sauce saved his life
It
because
did.
okay.
The driver was okay. This dude most likely wouldn't have made it, but he was going to grab some hot sauce. So second time.
That's a little bit of a stretch.
Hey, I'm just saying, Taco Bell, if you need a marketing person to help you with this campaign, Taco Bell hot sauce could save your life. I mean, have your people call my people. By the way, Heidi's my people. Customs officials seized 1,000 pounds of pork that was smuggled into New Jersey from China. What?
Smuggling
pork in? I don't understand that. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos unveiled a robotic dragonfly during an annual tech conference in Palm Springs.
Why?
I don't know. I'm thinking it's just so if you Google Jeff Bezos fly, this thing comes up instead of, all those other stories.
Okay.
He was having an affair, Heidi. Now he's got a little robotic dragonfly. And finally, Paris, France, tops the world's list of most expensive cities. Paris, France.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means. Must be expensive to live there and to go there and to do things there. I don't know. Either way, that's
one place I just don't have much of a desire to see.
You know what? I would like to go, but here's the thing. I would like to go to a lot of places. So it's not like that's on my short list of, that's got to be the first one. I'd like to go there, but there are many other places that I would really like to go as well. So I'm not saying that, I'm not knocking it. France, Paris, I still love you, baby. Coming up, we've got more fun stuff. This has been your Scoop of the Day on the John and Heidi Show.
Do you have IRS tax problems? Are they keeping you up at night? Afraid to open your own mail or even answer your telephone? If your tax problems are affecting your family life, you need to know you have options. You have rights, and we'll make sure you get them. Call and speak with Mike Habib, the tax expert who will handle your case at 877-78-TAXES or online at myirs.taxrelief.com. That's 877-78-TAXES or myirs.taxrelief.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Got not one, but two special guests joining me today. We have some filmmakers, Jay and Sofia Lyons, and they've got a new movie called The Long Goodbye, the Kara Tippetts Story. And we'll start with Jay. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing amazing from Burbank, California. We actually got some rain lately, but, it's pretty always sunny here, so we're sunny and happy.
That's awesome. Well, we're excited to visit with you. Today is a really special day for you guys because your documentary, which has done very well in advance sales, is officially releasing today, and today's a special day, isn't it?
It is so special. This is Sofia Lyons, and we have been working on this project for 4 years and cannot believe today's finally here.
And the significance of March 22nd, it's the 4th anniversary of something special. Let's talk about that.
Well, today is the 4th anniversary that a woman named Kara Tippetts passed away 4 years ago. She had cancer that spread through her entire body, and this documentary film is about her life story and her life journey.
And that's why it's called The Long Goodbye. And it's a story that, could have been a completely different story, but there were things that happened along the way. And let's talk about how this whole story came together and how you guys got involved in this.
Well, actually, we met Kara on Facebook, and as a TV producer, I had been kind of starting to do a TV show about people struggling with end-of-life issues and death and dying and suffering, which sounds like a super heavy topic, and it is, but it's something that we all deal with and we all face and all have relatives or family or friends that are dealing with. And I knew if it was handled correctly, that it could be a beautiful thing. And just the process of sharing that love, even the joy and suffering and having your loved ones near as we all enter into that time. So that's how the movie came about. I'd always had a desire to document that, and Kara was a very willing and eager person to share her story.
And one of the things that I think is amazing is something that she did to reach out to another person who was going through something similar, Brittany Maynard, and this went viral, and this kind of brought a lot of attention to Kara in her final years. Let's talk about what happened there.
Yeah, I think that Kara reached out to Brittany Maynard in an open letter, and I think it was just one woman who had cancer and who was dying, writing a letter to another one, and I understand how it got politicized, but honestly, from the perspective of Kara, it was not maliciously written. It wasn't written for a political reason. It was her honest plea to another woman, just begging her to not take her own life. And that did put her in the spotlight. But if you knew Kara for more than 5 minutes, you knew she was kind and loving. There wasn't a controversial bone in her body. And she did get some backlash, actually a lot of people that sent her very nasty messages that no one should ever send someone who's suffering and dying themselves.
But, along with the negative that came with that, there was a lot of positive that came from it as well. And I think that's the thing that hopefully people will focus on is all the positive that came from it.
You're totally right. And Kara said these words, that cancer gave her a credibility she never thought she would want or have. And that's true. Her dying of cancer herself and suffering did give her a credibility to speak on things like suffering, like maybe you and I don't have.
Also, it's a very highly charged issue. And so while Brittany and Kara may have seemed like they were on opposite sides, they were really in this issue together. They had different opinions and made different choices. But also, Brittany's mom wrote Kara a letter back, which a lot of people don't know, which they chose to keep that private, but it was very positive. So there's a relationship there that maybe didn't get all the publicity, but it's just it's a controversial and heated topic. So, but I think it was handled by both of them with grace and love and dignity.
Again, visiting right now with filmmakers Jay and Sofia Lyons. They've got a new movie called The Long Goodbye, the Kara Tippetts Story. It actually is released today, but people have been pre-ordering it, and you guys have done very, very well with the pre-orders because this is a movie, and this whole story is something that just really kind of touches people right in the heart. And one of those people is Joanna Gaines, and a lot of folks know her from her television program. How did she get involved in this story? She's actually featured in the film, right?
She is, and that's a story where I have to give all credit to my wife. As we shared, we started following Kara Tippetts in the last stages of her life as she struggled with cancer. And then after she passed away, we continued to edit this movie, and we're making it into a documentary. And we knew that she had had a relationship with Joanna Gaines somehow, who has the show fixer-upper. And my wife said, we need to contact Joanna. And I was like, no, let's not worry about that. Let's just finish this and get it done. And she said, no, I think we really should. And she kept pushing me. And finally, we got some contact information and sent an email. And we heard from some of Joanna's people immediately that Joanna was extremely touched by Kara and would love to be in the documentary. So that was just a joy and a thrill. And Joanna had a natural relationship with Kara. Joanna actually went and visited Kara and decorated her house for Christmas, not as a part of her TV show, but just because that's the type of person she is. She's incredibly sweet, incredibly loving. So Joanna did a very kind thing for Kara, and that story and all about that is actually in the film.
Well, thank you two for taking the time to chat with me, but also thank you for making sure this story is told. I think it's an amazing concept for a film, and I know that from the pre-orders that you guys have done well, but I think today is going to be a really, really big day for you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for celebrating with us.
Again, the movie is called The Long Goodbye, the Kara Tippetts Story. It's available officially starting today, and I've got a link in our show notes to find all of that. Our guests today have been Jay and Sofia Lyons. They are the filmmakers that put this together. If you'd like to find more information about them, or if you'd like to find the link to get this movie, I've got it all in the show notes for today at JohnandHeidiShow.com.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website bettercreditcards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Solo synchronized swimming was once an Olympic sport. How does that work?
Solo synchronized?
He says if
Doesn't
you thought tug of war was a weird...
synchronized, by definition, mean more than one?
Well, in the Los Angeles Games of 1984, the introduction of solo synchronized swimming was introduced. Sounds like an oxymoron, but it worked something like a ballet in the water. The synchronized part referred to swimmers staying in sync with music, not other swimmers. It took home top prize that year. Tracy Ruiz nabbed the gold. The sport was discontinued in 1992. So, that sounds like a stretch.
You would think I would remember it if it was around until 90. Of course, I've never really watched the Olympics at all.
So that would mean it was just in 84 and 88. It was only twice because it's every 4 years. So, yeah, that's just bizarre. Thanks for listening to this very fun fact on the John and Heidi Show.
Here's a fun trip back to the 80s.
Surely you can't be serious.
Join us in Las Vegas for 80s in the Desert May 3rd and 4th. Hang out with other 80s fans.
International language of love.
Meet several 80s icons from the movies and rock out to awesome music from the 80s. Flock of Seagulls, The Romantics, Mr. Scandal with Patti Smythe, Thomas Dolby, Pretty Poison, and more. See the full list of bands and icons at RadioTravelGroup.com. That's radiotravelgroup.com.
Now, fear this. Time for fun with phobias. Heidi, tell me, what do you think this one is? Dishabliophobia. Dishabliophobia. Dishabilo phobia. Dishabliophobia.
I don't know.
I know a lot of people that have this. Fear of undressing in front of someone.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been a fan of that. And here's what I don't like the most is I remember going to the gym, like the fitness center kind of gym where you'd work out, and then you'd be in there, and
as
there's
opposed to what other kind of
I
gym?
don't know, maybe some other gym, gym neighbors. I don't know what I was thinking. Don't know what gym, but I went to one where afterwards there was like an old man just walking around naked in there for a long time. I'm like, dude. Would you put on some pants or something?
A towel.
But he just kept walking around in there naked. And I'm like, I wasn't this fear of undressing in front of someone, it wasn't so uncomfortable for me to be undressing. I'm like, would somebody tell him? I thought, did he lose his clothes? Like he wandered around there for like 10 minutes with no clothes on. I'm like, I don't get it. What are you doing? Are you air drying? Is that what happened? I don't know. Anyway, that's today's fun with phobias.
Do you have a pretty good sense of humor? You might like this. Early in the morning each day and every day, we share something weird to make people laugh at weirdgiftoftheday.com. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't even need to spend a penny. Just follow the page on Facebook and get a smile to start each day when we share the weird gift of the day. Not on Facebook? That's okay. You can see the weird gifts on our website too. weirdgiftoftheday.com. That's weirdgiftoftheday.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by weirdgiftoftheday.com. Have you seen any of the weird gifts lately, by the way? They're all quite a few.
I saw one yesterday.
A lot of them have to do with like
ago.
April Fool's pranks right now.
Yeah.
So, by the way, that's coming up here in just a little over a week. So, Heidi, do you have a big plan yet?
No,
Usually
I don't.
she tricks our son. So, anyway, weirdgiftoftheday.com. Fort Lauderdale man called 911 after going to the bathroom and finding an iguana in his toilet. He didn't know what else to do, so he called 911. They didn't know what to do either. Says they freaked out. They didn't know what to do. A firefighter, Jeff Cursis, put on a sterile glove, reached in and grabbed the iguana and took it outside and released it into the wild. In the end all be all, they said, this is quite a unique call. They did tweet some pictures of the iguana saying, can you imagine lifting the toilet lid and finding this? I've got a picture of the cute little bugger, by the way, if you want to see it. It's in the show notes at JohnandHeidiShow.com. Now your moment of duh, brought to you by FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. And it says here, a Spider-Man mask purchased at a thrift store was just not enough to keep a Florida man from being identified in a burglary at a liquor store.
Oh.
Fast Eddie, also known as Edward Wilburn, stole some bottles and some cigarettes from a liquor store. And surveillance video showed him with his face covered with a Spider-Man mask, grabbing multiple bottles and putting them in a box before running away. Now, that might have worked if he hadn't originally approached the store without the mask and walked around.
The same day, in the same clothes.
Without the mask. This showed him,
oh my gosh,
in an attempted break-in. Says, to me, it was just a matter of absolute surprise that he would walk up to the door first and try to break in.
And then come back.
Apparently, it clicked in his head that, hey, I should maybe put on that mask that I already bought. So, not a good plan.
Wow.
You do something like that, you're going to end up right here in today's moment of duh.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website bettercreditcards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Now, these three things. Heidi, tell me, what do these three things have in common? I'm going to throw in a fourth if you don't get them on the first three.
All right.
Whales, peas, astronauts. Do you know it right away? The most famous lately would be Tide.
Pods?
Yes. See, I thought that might help. Whales apparently live in pods. Peas in a pod, and astronauts have pods.
Okay, the other two, I don't understand the whale pod.
Yeah,
I'll have to look that up.
I think they live in pods. I think like that's what they
live in a pod. They live in the ocean.
A group of Think a group of whales is a pod of of whales. I don't know what I'm talking about.
We should probably just stop now.
I'm going to stop. There's zoologists listening right now, rolling their eyes, calling the station. Can you please tell John he's a moron? Yes, I am. I'm sorry.
So am I. I don't know what
Whale
they're talking about.
pods. It's a much tougher challenge than the Tide Pod. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of radiotravelgroup.com. All of the details there on a trip that's going to be happening in May in Las Vegas, Nevada. All of the details again at radiotravelgroup.com. We talked a little bit about this earlier because there was a story today from a person who was in a booth at a Taco Bell,
right,
and they walked away to get some hot sauce,
yes,
and then a car crashed through and hit the booth they were in.
And we're going to talk about that again. You thought that was so fascinating? We're going
to talk about the other one. Man praises Taco Bell hot sauce for saving his life after being trapped in his car for 5 days. So this happened just recently. Heavy snow forced a 36-year-old man to spend 5 days stuck in his car. He was waiting for someone to rescue him. While he was there, he was saved by some leftover packets of hot sauce that he had in the center console in his vehicle. Jeremy Taylor had been driving through an area. Where is this at? Which state is this in? Oregon, okay. When his SUV got stuck in the snow, and he was hoping the weather would ease up during the night. Well, that didn't happen. And it was him and his dog, Allie. The next day, the record-breaking snowfall made things even worse. They were buried.
Wow.
And he was in snow so deep that he knew it would be too risky for him to even get out of the vehicle. So they sat in there, and they spent the next 5 days in the car. And periodically, they would eat some leftover Taco Bell fire sauce for energy. And every once in a while, he would turn the car on for an occasion, getting some heat in the frigid nighttime temperatures. And the rest of the time, he would leave it off. It says after days of sucking down some hot sauce packets, they were found by a person on a snowmobile who discovered the car, called the sheriff's office, and saved his life. How crazy is that?
That is insane.
Yeah, he says, I am safe, and my dog is safe, and I really appreciate all the help. And he says, I got lucky, and I'm never going to do that again. I'll be in touch with anybody. I'll be in touch with everyone soon. So he had, all these people that were really worried about him, where he was at.
And he must not have had a cell phone on him or anything.
It doesn't say. And if he did, even if you do, how do you tell somebody where you are? I'm somewhere in the snow. I'm out here under the snow somewhere. A spokesperson for Taco Bell.
Well, he would know, I would assume, what road he was on, and they would at least be able to narrow it down that way, unless he was just wandering around in the middle of a snowstorm.
It gets better. A spokesperson for Taco Bell has now said they've offered Taylor a year's worth of free food. Because
a year?
All of the free exposure they've gotten, they're like, we're giving you...
I would assume it would be a lifetime.
He's probably sick of it right now. He's like, I'm good for a week or two, I promise. I'll come in later, though. So.
I think that's pretty chintzy.
Oh, I think it's pretty darn cool. So
they should have given him a lifetime supply.
Heidi. I think a year is absolutely awesome. I think it's cool. And it's time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. You have a great day. I see the look on your face. I'm not even going to let you say what I think you're going to say. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.